Hello again, fellow BeachBum traders. Thank you for joining us for part one of our weekly trading game plan for the trading week of June 5th through June 9th, where we'll try to help you determine is the AI bubble about to burst, and also to make money trading, whether or not the AI bubble is about to burst or not. So again, thank you for joining us for part one of our weekly trading game plan for June 5th through June 9th, where we'll do our market analysis, talk about strategies, trade ideas again, and help you determine is the AI bubble about to burst and how to make money trading, whether or not the AI bubble is about to burst. Good morning, Nug M. Thank you for joining us in the chat today. So here's our Google document with our notes for part one of our weekly trading game plan for this week. Our notes Google documents are publicly accessible. You can find a link in the description box below. Our notes documents contain bonus links to videos, links to all the tools that we use, additional notes, etc. for your reference back in the future. We store all of our notes documents for our weekly trading game plans in a publicly accessible Google Drive folder, so you can refer back to these notes and notes from our previous weekly trading game plans in that Google Drive folder, and you can find a link to that Drive folder in the description box below as well. Good morning, welcome Flip of the Shippa, MD. Thank you for joining us. Hope you all had a good week, are doing well. So we'll get started looking at how the markets ended up on Friday. On the homepage of FinViz, so we see, pretty exuberant rally after the debt ceiling deal got approved. It's, waiting signature, but again, market reacted pretty exuberantly. The Dow recovered. It was up over 2%, NASDAQ up over 1%, S&P almost 1.5%. See, we had, 77% advancing, only 20% declining, 80% new highs, less than 20% new lows. So now we've got 50% above the 50-day moving average and only 45 below. And we've got 48 or 46% above, 53% below the 200-day. So again, pretty exuberant rally. We see pretty bullish, 58% bullish. So again, pretty exuberant rally on the resolution of that debt ceiling issue. So we see the heat maps mostly green. We saw NVIDIA had a little bit of a pullback. Again, that'll be part of our discussion on the AI bubble. We see pretty much all the semiconductors pull back a little bit after their exuberant rally throughout the week. We also see communication services was a little bit negative, but otherwise everything was pretty much heavily in the green. We'll see a sector rotation back into energy and basic materials and industrials when we look at the groups and sectors as well. Welcome to Ricky Kahn, Chris Freeman, Ellen Krentz. Thank you all for joining us. So we see some of the news. We'll talk about the OPEC Plus meeting that's occurring this weekend. The debt ceiling deal is expected to be signed this weekend. Value trade smoked by the AI frenzy. Again, we'll talk about the AI bubble. And we talked about the recovery in the Dow. We see oil had popped up. Again, I would hypothesize a lot of this has to do with the OPEC meeting. They're hypothesizing that OPEC might do a sizable cut again, which might cause a pop in the crude oil prices. Again, natural gas just been range bound between 2 and 3. We'll see gold is, drop down below 2,000. So now 2,000 is providing resistance. We'll see opportunities in gold and silver. The dollar sitting around 103, 104, dropped briefly below 104. So the euro lost and then strengthened a little bit, but it's been pretty much stuck in that 103, 104 range as well. See, the treasuries picked up a little bit. Treasury yields picked up a little bit. Good morning, Easy Mike. Thank you for joining us. So we'll quickly look at the indices. been pretty exuberant run this week. So we saw the SPY broke out from that pivot point from that previous resistance and is now, approaching its next previous high in the 430s. So again, we can see that breakout. We can see that next high in around the 430 area. So again, a pretty exuberant rally up. It's above its moving averages. Got golden cross a little while ago. So very bullish activity in the SPY, Qs even more so. So we see that exuberant rally broke out from its previous high. Next previous high around 370 something. So again, exuberant rally in the NASDAQ. Dow had pulled back some, retested that long-range moving average, 200-week moving average. We can see how that's acting as support. So when it tests that moving average, it pops up. So now it's getting also support from that shorter-term moving average, although the Dow's pretty much just moving laterally and getting support from those moving averages. So not the exuberant rally that we saw in the SPY or the NASDAQ. The Russell had a pop on Friday as well, so we see that little pop. Did break above its 50-week moving average. Tested, looks like it about tested the 200-week moving average and got rejected. So again, we've got overhead resistance in the Russell, so it wouldn't be surprising to see that get rejected, and then it'll have to, try testing that resistance several times till it possibly breaks out. Look at the VIX. VIX pretty much declined pretty severely once that debt ceiling issue was resolved. So I'll go back to the daily. So we see that dramatic drop in the VIX. So again, once the debt ceiling issue was resolved, the VIX, the volatility dropped off pretty significantly. That was the last element of current fear, and there really wasn't much fear. Everyone expected a deal to get cut. It's just a matter of when and how bad the deal would be. So welcome, Mighty Soldier Trades. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, we'll talk about, Easy Mike's talking about rotation. So yeah, we'll look at the rotations between the groups. Thank you for smashing the like button. I hope everyone will join Mighty Soldiers Trades. And if you like our content, please like our videos so that they'll get shared with more of our fellow traders out there. We can continue to build our community for everyone's mutual benefit. So we'll look at the groups and the sectors quickly. So again, we saw this rotation. We've been talking about sector rotation is the name of the game. I still believe that's the case. Just a quick reminder, we're not financial advisors. None of our content should be considered financial advice. We're here for education and entertainment purposes only. So again, we were talking about this rotation. We expected back into energy basic materials. We saw that on Friday. Also recovery in real estate, profit-taking money flowing out of technology. So for the week, again, we see basic materials picked up, real estate picked up, energy slowly starting to pick up. But for the month, technology, communication services still, the biggest green. So we see, where basic materials, real estate, and energy were. Again, my personal opinion, I expect the trend to be that rotation back into basic materials, energy, and possibly real estate with profit taking in technology. However, I think we'll get, intermittent surges back into technology communication services based on, in part, the AI bubble hype. So again, we want to watch these sectors closely, see where the money's flowing out of, where it's flowing into, take advantage of those opportunities, and make money on these sector rotations. Again, as we've been talking for several weeks, I don't see a lot of new money coming in. And so, again, the name of the game is watching the sector rotation and profiting from the sector rotations. Now, Again, we're talking about the AI bubble this week. That may cause some new money to flow in. It might get some uh, retail excitement going, and we might see some money flowing into those AI stocks to further inflate that bubble. We'll have to keep an eye on that and see if we see that money flow in. Look at the industries again, basic materials. So we had seen how badly beaten down, steel, aluminum, chemicals had been, and those are some of the top performers for the week. We also see a bunch of the REITs, so real estate starting to recover, a bunch of oil and gas, so coke and coal. So coal again had been severely beaten down. Rotation into that on Friday. So again, you keep an eye on those opportunities. So the most beaten down right now, you see silver and gold. So I think, again, my humble opinion, I think there's an opportunity there. We'll see in the futures where that opportunity lies as well. Also, solar, we'll get some severe rotations in and out of solar. So you could take advantage of that as well if they rotate back into solar. Uranium had a good week. Copper had a resurgence back up. There was some news on China. Stimulating some of their real estate, and that in part caused the surge in copper. It was also severely beaten down. So on Friday, uranium got a little bit weaker. So again, we've been playing that rotation in and out of uranium. See again, real estate, aluminum, chemicals. So again, for the week, we've still got a coal at the bottom, but not otherwise. It's mostly retail. And again, semiconductors is the strongest for the month. So again, opportunities, there'll probably be some profit taking again in the semiconductors and technology areas, and some rotation back into some of the beaten down areas. Just checking the chat real quickly. Okay, let me grab a drink. I'll bring up investing.com. We'll look at the economic data, talk about that from last week and also going into next week. Ricky Khan mentions the wheat harvest. Yeah, we'll talk about our opportunity in wheat and we'll look at that. Corn, agriculture. Yeah, when we get to futures, we'll talk about commodities in more detail and opportunities and how we're playing those as well, probably more so tomorrow. Let me zoom this up a little bit more. So from last week, obviously we had a short trading week with Memorial Day on Monday. We hope you all had a good Memorial Day holiday weekend. Housing prices going up. So there's several indications in this economic data that cause a higher hypothesis that the Fed may increase interest rates in June. That's a significant discussion now, whether they're going to pause in June or go 25 basis points in June. The inflation data is not good. It indicates, they probably should hike. Now, whether they do or not, we'll see. Consumer confidence was a little bit better. Mortgages went up. So PMI manufacturing data is poor. So those are recessionary indicators. So the manufacturing, the front end supply chain type data is saying we might be headed into a recession, but the jolts, and we'll see the other employment data says the job market's still very strong. So it's not indicating a recession. It's also not indicating that inflation in terms of salaries and wages is coming down anytime soon. So again, those are inputs to the Fed's decision that Fed to skip hike in June, hop into long pause. That's what Morgan Stanley says. So Morgan Stanley says they're going to skip and then pause, and that's their opinion. We had Fed governors speaking. Some say they should pause, some say they should hike. So again, that hasn't caused too much volatility, but a little bit of volatility. Then we got jobless claims. So again, continuing dropped. So people are getting jobs. Continuing claims dropped. Initial was below expectations. So again, the layoffs aren't really hitting. This was poor. Productivity is still very negative. So I guess everybody's not quite using ChatGPT yet. And increasing productivity. Again, ISM manufacturing, this picked up a little bit. This is still hovering around 50, so borderline recession. Manufacturing prices did drop, so inflation on the front of the curve coming down. Had a build in natural gas, had a big build in crude oil inventory. So again, that might be a cause for OPEC to cut. And we got hourly earnings was as expected. Payrolls was much higher than expected. So non-farm payrolls on Friday was much higher than expected. So again, the job market's very resilient, very healthy. So the Fed doesn't have to worry about the job market. About unemployment only went up to 3.7. So again, it's going up a little bit, but not drastically. And Baker Hughes, so the rig count's continuing to drop as we expect. Now, in my humble opinion, the market didn't really care about any of that data. It wanted to go up, the AI hype, buy NVIDIA, buy Microsoft, buy Google, AI. They wanted to go up, so the market went up. I don't think it's paying any attention to this data. It might get some short-term blips, short-term volatility. But again, I think the market's going to continue on this AI hype run, and given the sector rotations we just talked about, but I think, in terms of the markets going up, I think they're going to continue to run at least until we get to the Fed meeting on the 13th, 14th, and then we'll see. But I don't even think that's horribly significant. I think whether we get 25 basis points or zero with some commentary, I think the market's going to head back up at this point. Again, my opinion, but now that the debt ceiling's been resolved, I think we're going to see a rally for some period of time until, some exogenous event causes some level of fear. So I'd love to see what the chat thinks. Do you agree, disagree? What do you think of that hypothesis? And what are your thoughts on, where's the market headed? Also, you can put it in the comments below if you're watching this after the fact. So economic data for next week. Again, we've got the OPEC meeting, so we should hear what their decision is tomorrow. If they do a cut, again, I'd expect a short-term surge in oil prices, and a lot of commentary around that. So again, energy may be a positive theme as the ETFs, a lot of the energy-based ETFs, the XLE, etc. If they push up oil, it'll probably carry a lot of the other energy stocks up as well. Got factory orders, ISM on Monday. Not a whole lot. Redbook on Tuesday, not a whole lot. Crude oil stocks, mortgage. So not a lot of new data coming out next week. It looks like the Fed officials are in their quiet period, so we're not seeing a lot of Fed official talk. So we won't hear a lot of opinions as to the rate hike. Get job claim data, typical. This was interesting. On Friday, a commodity report comes out. So this is something you might want to watch if you're interested in trading, swinging, scalping commodities. You can see what the various previous levels were, and you can see they don't list a forecast, but they list the previous, and we could see if the actuals are significantly different from the previous levels. So I thought that was kind of interesting for Friday if you're trading commodities. Welcome, Walter Lyons. Thank you for joining us. And I agree, Mighty Soldiers trades. That's really the best thing is let the market tell you what to trade, how to make money trading, and you know make money with whatever the market gives you. Don't have a predisposed assumption as to which way you think it should go, must go, etc. So I agree. I think that's the best way to make money trading. Look at earnings. We should be pretty much winding down for next week. Looks like we've got a little bit. All the majors have pretty much reported that I know of. Smuckers, so we got some consumer defensives, some Cracker Barrel, some restaurants. Again, Brown-Forman is a liquor company, big liquor company, I believe. GameStop, so meme stocks are on deck. DocuSign, so a pandemic tech stock. So you can go through it. It looks like we're pretty much wrapping up for this earnings season. So again, in my thesis on, the market doesn't, it's not going to get a lot of earnings shocks that really would cause a change in trend, and also not change in, whether the AI bubble is going to continue to inflate or burst. And then we've got the FOMC meeting, as we talked, is the 13th, 14th. So whether they're going to pause, like who was it, J.P. Morgan or Morgan Stanley just thinks they're going to pause. You're going to hear half the people think they're going to pause, half the people think they're going to go 25. I don't think either one's going to be a major shock to the markets either way. Again, my opinion. Welcome to Thinker. Glad to see you. From what I hear, just to quickly respond to that about Amazon offering phone service, it's they've talked about it a little bit, but if it's going to happen, it's going to be a long time. So if you're buying T-Mobile and Verizon based on that happening anytime soon, I don't think it's going to get my opinion, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. It's not a bad idea, but I don't think it'll be free either. Just a quick reminder in our Discord for earnings reports, news, etc. We have the news. We have an automated feed that comes out in our Surf the Markets reports. Also, all the economic data as it comes out is reported very quickly in our Surf the Markets reports channel in our Discord. Our Discord is free to join. I'll throw the banner up for our Discord, and you can also find an invite in the description box below. We'd love to have you. We can carry on these conversations, these chats, 24/7 in our Discord. Again, you can get real-time economic news, also the earnings reports. So as people report earnings, it gets posted very quickly in the earnings reports channel in our Discord. So we hope, again, you'll join us there as well. Okay. Let me grab a quick drink and we'll jump over to the Webull market screen. Thought this was kind of interesting. Webull changed their promotion screen, their offer. You could see they're offering 12 free fractional stocks. They also added some offers on this page. So now if you deposit any amount, you get 6 to 12 free fractional stocks, fractional shares. So I assume they're giving you fractional shares of larger stocks. Thought this was interesting as well. They have a smart advisor, and they'll give you a $10 cash reward if you open and fund a smart advisor account with $100 as an AI based, smart portfolio advisor. Also, they've had their cash management. They're offering 5% APY on uninvested cash and no fees, no minimum balance, and their reimbursement for transfers, and you get complimentary level 2 quotes, which we use their NASDAQ level 2 quotes too, and you can see why to use Webull. As you know, Webull's our favorite trading platform. We like the 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. trading hours. We do most of our, a lot of our market analysis, due diligence, and the majority of our trading in Webull. So if you're not already using Webull, again, we recommend the platform. We use the platform and we like it, and we'd appreciate it if you'd use our affiliate link, and you can help support the channel and all of our efforts and get 12 free stocks and the other bonuses that they list there. So I use the browser version of Webull. I also use the desktop version, but this is the market screen of the online browser version of Webull. We can see in the histogram we had many more advancers than decliners, so almost 4,800 to 1,400 significant advances. So a nice top candle in the middle, very few significant decliners, so very positive, very bullish histogram. I thought this was really interesting because although we've got the AI hype, the AI bubble coming, we're still seeing this outflow of money from the NASDAQ. So again, this is 2 weeks running, at least on Friday, we're seeing a significant outflow of money out of the NASDAQ, out of the tech-heavy NASDAQ, and we saw money flow into the NYSE. So that's more fuel for your industrials, your basic materials, your energy, etc. So again, that's 2 weeks in a row we've seen money outflow out of the NASDAQ, even though the hype seems to be all tech, all AI growth, So one would have expected money flowing into the NASDAQ, into technology, and that's just not what we're seeing. So again, I don't think there's new money coming in. I think they're, profit taking out of the tech and flowing into other sectors. So again, I think sector rotation is the name of the game. Again, you can see the earnings calendar, the near-term earnings calendar here in Webull. So there's SAIC, that's a consulting firm. You can see whether it's before market open or after market close. Joanne, the retailer. We'll look at the industries for the week. So again, uranium for the week was pretty positive. We see one of the ones we've been watching, DNN, I believe Easy Mike, and some others like UEC. You can hear my thesis on UEC in a separate video. Education's okay. Auto parts is poor. AAP had very negative earnings, very negative guidance. Again, we're starting to see a recovery in some of the REITs. So healthcare REITs. So we have a position in MPW. Here's another healthcare REIT. Electronics kind of mixed. Financial, slightly positive. Semiconductors still positive. Healthcare positive. Consumer goods positive. Again, investment banks was positive. Oil and gas positive. Renewable energy slightly positive. So again, we saw solar took a little bit of a dip, but there's a lot of rotation in and out of that. Part of that was, I'm sure, with the debt ceiling deal, whether they were going to salvage some of their infrastructure, and it sounded like they did salvage some of that infrastructure bill for clean energy, solar, etc. Again, metals and mining is now positive. Retail showing positive, but there's a lot of weakness in some of the retail. Look at the ETFs quickly here. So small cap is top performer. Russell. So again, on Friday we saw, Russell had a positive resurgence back into small caps, mid caps. So positive momentum there. Dow was positive. Dow up, mid cap up, and the S&P. So small caps, mid caps. Again, the VIX is probably going to keep going down unless we get some exogenous shock. There isn't a whole lot of fear, probably a significant amount of greed. And I don't know of any events until we get to the Fed meeting that's going to cause significant volatility. Maybe the OPEC meeting will cause a little bit. Again, we've got Russell positive, small caps positive. China turned around on that stimulus in both their real estate, and I think they issued some other stimulus. So I think that turned around the trend in China. Europe turned around positive. So industries, industrials, again, positive on Friday. Healthcare, pretty much everything's going to be positive. Energy, utilities, again, technology, some profit taking in technology. Pretty much everything else, a little negativity in healthcare. Commodities, energy, industrial metals, carbon offsets, energy, gas and oil. So same. So bonds, Asia, alternate income. So you see not a lot of the treasuries participating there. We'll go look at the futures. So here's where we'll see our commodities, etc., how they're and the indices. We'll see that trend. So we see that big push in the Dow, big recovery in the Dow. So it did break above. The futures is breaking above the most recent high. It's got some room to run up there. So that's boding very positive for the Dow. S&P broke out. NASDAQ, not so much, but it's just trending higher. This is one we'll talk about more tomorrow. We talked about Japan last week. We're watching for some opportunities for a peak in the Nikkei in Japan. We see that big surge in the Russell. Again, some of these may retrace short term. That's a pretty extended move, a pretty exuberant move. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got a quick retracement before any continue trending upward. We see that big drop in the VIX. Again, the VIX is at something, multi-year low. It's going to probably continue to drop. Again, we see oil. We've talked about oil. It did dip briefly below 70. I was hoping to catch this opportunity. It didn't dip down to the 65 level again at this point, and now it's turning back up in expectation that OPEC's going to cut. Again, natural gas pretty much range bound between 2 and 3. Right now it's range bound between about 2 and 250. So just kind of oscillating back and forth. Again, plenty of day trade, short-term trade opportunities there. It is very volatile. So, be nimble, be careful. But in terms of a longer term swing, it's pretty much stuck between 2 and 3 in the near term. Again, gold broke down below 2,000, so we see how 2,000 is acting as that resistance. It's going to have to keep testing that 2,000 until it breaks out. Again, I don't expect it to move a whole lot until it breaks back above 2,000, although you keep hearing central banks, etc., people buying gold, also silver. Silver's been pretty much stuck, now between about 23 and 24. It did briefly break above 24, but it's got to, that's gonna pose resistance until it breaks out from 24, and then it'll have to go to 25, etc. But again, overall, it's making higher lows and higher highs. See that significant recovery in copper. See some of the livestock. Easy Mike mentioned DBA. See corn made a rebound. Also wheat made a rebound. And again, we're in the ETF for wheat. We're playing that rebound. So we're using the ETF WEAT. See lumber's down a bit. And then we see, that bounce in all the treasuries once the debt ceiling deal got resolved. The treasuries bounced back up. And the dollar, again, it's been sitting between 103 and 104 lately, dropped briefly, and then bounced back up to 104. So, and all the other foreign currencies reacted similarly. Just catching up with the chat real quickly. Anyone? Yeah. We we'll talk about potash, the one we're watching a little bit tomorrow. See if there's any other questions I missed right now. Okay, how we doing? I'll quickly jump over to our ETF spreadsheet. If anyone has any other categories you want to look at, we can do that. I'll get that open a second and then grab a drink a second while I set that up. And again, if you have any questions of a category in the chat, let me know and we can look at those specifically. Otherwise, I want to get through this part pretty quickly because I want to talk about is the AI bubble about to burst and how might we know when the AI bubble is about to burst. Just a quick reminder, our All Access and VIP Patreons have access to the ETF spreadsheet as well as our dividend payers spreadsheet and our puts ROIC, return on investment capital spreadsheet, 24/7. So if you'd like to be able to use these Google Sheets, these spreadsheets anytime to help you in your trading, if you join our Patreon, at the all access or VIP level, you'll get access to all of those Google Sheets. And again, I use those, to help with my trading. Once I identify a possible opportunity, like in the futures, etc., we can jump over to the ETF spreadsheet and then identify ETFs to play those opportunities, whether it be an index, a commodity, etc., long or short, if I have an ETF that I can trade in that direction. So we've talked about in one way we can watch, when the AI bubble is about to burst is we've got several AI related ETFs in our Google Sheet. So when these, are making new highs, reaching resistance, that may be some indication to help us determine, when is that bubble about to burst. We have a separate video where we talked about each of those ETFs in detail and why we selected those ETFs. Talked about China a little bit. We're still long yen. You can, day trade, short-term trade with yin and yang. Talked about the bounce in corn. It's, significantly higher and above support, so I'm not really chasing that one. It's above 52-week high, but, it did recently bounce and doesn't have too bad of a risk-reward profile. Talked about DBA. Plenty of opportunities for, trading energy. You can find ETFs to trade energy generally, oil, natural gas, etc. So again, in our Google Sheet, gold and silver. So again, we talked about the opportunities in gold and silver. We have a separate video talking about these ETFs in gold and silver. Easy Mike was asking about potash. So we were watching IPI. You see it significantly bounced up above support. So it's, kind of run away, but you can see, potential upside. Not quite a double at this point since it had a significant bounce on Friday with the rest of the commodities, basic materials. We see that, bounce in the Russell. Welcome the Crow. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you. So again, silver ETFs. Talking about steel. Here's a steel ETF. Again, it's already bounced up quite a bit. We've got some long short Tesla, also Nvidia. Again, Nvidia's run way up with the momentum behind it, the hype behind it. I wouldn't be too eager to short Nvidia directly. We talked about using SOXS and looking for a top in SOXL, and I'll talk about that again tomorrow. So if anybody else has any other categories you want to look at real quickly, let me know. You guys are talking about natural gas, oil. Again, my opinion, I think it's pretty much range bound at this point. I'm not pursuing a swing in there, but you can track where oil is relative to support, where resistance is, 52-week low, etc., using our Google Sheet. Okay, again, to point it out, we've got, news reported in our Discord. Okay, I want to talk about, our strategy, our theme for the week is the AI bubble about to burst, and I'll just spoiler and give you my opinion. And again, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational and hopefully some level of entertainment purpose only. But again, for a number of reasons, I don't think the AI bubble is ready to burst yet. Part of this is all the companies like NVIDIA, etc., Google, Microsoft have reported their earnings. It was very positive. They all mentioned AI. NVIDIA, upped their guidance significantly based on the adoption of their GPUs for AI. And again, we're not going to have any change in that outlook for about the next 3 months. So I believe this AI bubble is going to continue to inflate. You hear about it in the news constantly now. Everybody's talking about AI. Everybody's coming out and talking about how they're using AI, etc. Companies are tagging themselves as AI companies. So again, I think this bubble is going to continue to inflate for some period of time, particularly until we at least get to the next earnings season and we hear about how these AI companies actually are making money. We saw what happened to C3 AI, which their ticker symbol is AI, and their guidance was very poor. Well, that says they're not making money in AI, so they can call themselves an AI company, but you're going to have to be able to make money, and their guidance was poor. And they took a significant dump based on that. So, that was to run up significantly, and hopefully none of our BeachBum traders got hurt in that. But again, I expect this bubble to continue to inflate until it begins to burst. So I added some references in our notes, and I'll let you peruse those references at your own leisure in more detail, and I'll just hit some of the high points, but hopefully that'll help. Again, you can read these references or access these references in our Google document with our notes. First, I've got the Wikipedia article that talks about the dot-com bubble. I think this is very similar to the internet bubble, the dot-com bubble, and I think some of the same warning signs will apply. And so when we, start to see the same symptoms of what caused the dot-com bubble to finally burst, I think that will be our indication that the AI bubble is going to burst soon as well. So again, I'll let you read that in more detail. Also, we talked about, is AI at peak hype, and how would you know that it's at peak hype? I've got a couple videos where I've talked in general about the hype cycle, the Gartner hype cycle, and the technology adoption hype cycle. So again, I'll let you listen to those for the general ways to make money trading the hype cycle, make money trading the technology adoption cycle. Um, I did want to bring up very quickly, this is a little bit old. This is the Gartner hype cycle for AI. This is back from 2022. Um, I couldn't find a hype cycle for 2023 for AI from Gartner yet, but I thought at least this shows you the basic curve, the basic hype cycle. Back in 2022, we can see where generative AI was, and their time frame was 2 to 5 years for generative AI to reach, plateau of productivity. And again, that was 2022. Now we're in 2023. So, where is generative AI? Where are some of these other AI technologies in terms of peak of inflated expectations or peak hype? And you can see what comes after that. The bubble bursts, it falls into the trough of disillusionment, everyone abandons, and then eventually, useful technologies will climb the slope of enlightenment and reach a plateau of productivity. So you can see where we're at. We're somewhere in here with generative AI and some of these other smart robots. You heard Sentinel-1 just had poor earnings. That means, the technology is cool, but nobody's going to spend money on it. So again, you can see that in more detail using these references. I also have the article that graphic came from, so you can read more in detail about what Gartner thinks about these various technologies and the hype cycle. So again, is AI at peak hype? When's it going to be at peak hype? And when's the bubble going to burst or start to get inflated? Again, I think we've got some time. Some warning signs, and we're starting to hear some of this, is when every company in stock's an AI company, just like with the dot-com bubble. When every company was a dot-com company, and they got crazy valuations, crazy money flow. Now, I don't think we're going to see that right now, given the current interest rates. I think the venture capital's dried up pretty much, but we could see a flood of some of these AI companies, these non-profitable AI companies, rushing to IPO to try to take advantage of the hype and get a high valuation while the hype is still hot. So. And I'd love to hear, what do you guys all think? Do you think we're at peak hype? Do you think the AI bubble's about to burst? What other warning signs are you seeing about when it's about to burst? Also, we can talk, again in more detail about kind of the cycles of companies within the technology. NVIDIA had the big pop first, and that's an infrastructure type play. With the internet and the dot-com bubble, we saw the same thing. As your semiconductors companies were the first to surge, and then you got your software companies, and then your services companies, etc. Following that, and only after all of those inflated did the bubble finally burst. So we saw the first wave. Semiconductors have already surged. They may have already hit their peak, and now I think we'll see cloud companies. Microsoft, Google, Amazon. Also, Google has also, we might see competitors to NVIDIA, like Google has TensorFlow. Microsoft's starting to work with AMD. I think, again, my opinion, but some of the big winners are going to be the cloud companies. I don't know, you all may already know this, but you could use GPUs in the Microsoft Cloud, Amazon Cloud, Google Cloud. It's been years. So I used to use those cloud services, and I could spin up a GPU VM and build a ML model using those with those clouds, going back a number of years ago already. So Just trying to catch up and see if I'm missing anything in the chat. We've got our videos about how to make money trading in June. We've also talked about sector rotation. Also, with access to our ETF spreadsheet, you can see our technology components. So you can see where the various components of the technology sector reside. Guess I can pop that open real quickly. So again, we'll see, how that hype is. So semiconductors, you see how it rejected off that upper trend line, it bounced back down. We'll see if it retests this upper trend line again, or if it's pretty much, run its course. We see the TQQQ, the NASDAQ still, on a pretty good uptrend. Biotech, again, I don't see a real positive there. I think they're going to take money out of biotech and pour it into, semiconductors or other technologies. Again, the next trend might be software. We see the FANGs, broke out of their upper trend. Again, there's a number of reasons. Most of the FANGs, it's, they've got AI related. It's Microsoft, Google, Amazon, etc. They have a lot of AI, a lot of cloud, so Meta, etc. So tomorrow we'll talk more about dividend payers stocks. We'll look at our dividend payers spreadsheet. We'll also talk about our option strategies. We'll look at opportunities with, selling and buying back puts. So it's part of our option strategy. So just very quickly, does anyone have any final questions, comments, etc. that you'd like me to address? If I missed your question previously, please show it back up in the chat. I apologize if I missed it previously. Yeah. SOXL, SOXS is how we play semiconductors. Again, you can see those in our ETF spreadsheet. There are also a couple other semiconductor ETFs in there. MD says Kathy piling into some other AI names. Yeah, I mean, that's a good place to look for, I'll say the hype stocks is again, she's talking, she sold all her NVIDIA already, which is fine. I guess she took profits back in January, so I guess she missed out on the big run up, and now, they're piling into these, 5-year horizon stocks. So again, be careful. Again, if they're not making money, they may have a run for some period of time until they have to report their earnings, and then we'll see things like C3 AI and Sentinel One. If they can't make money, then eventually they're going to get punished. But in the short term, they could have a real hype run. This is the meme hype theme right now, and I think it could continue at least till the next earnings season. So again, I'd love to know what else you all think. You can put it in the comments below in our Discord. Again, our Discord's free to join. We have topics for various trading styles, asset classes, etc. Most people start in the beach party, is kind of where we hang out. So again, you can find a link to our Discord in the description box below, free to join. You can also find a link to our Discord invite on our homepage, as well as links to all our other social media, our Facebook group, Reddit community, etc. So if you have any questions, you can contact us in any of those ways. Our homepage is beachbumtrading.com, bum without the U. I'll very quickly throw that up in the banner. Again, so plenty of ways you can contact us and ask us any further questions that you might have. We hope you like this content. We hope you'll share this content with your fellow traders. Let's bring more people into the community. The more people we have and the more people conversing in our chats and our Discord, helping each other out. I think we've got a great community. So very good traders helping each other out. Let's help each other all make money trading, succeed in your trading career. If there's anything we can do further to help improve in those regards and help you in those regards, please let us know. So otherwise, we hope you all come back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for part 2. We'll be selecting our individual stocks, ETFs, etc. for our top swing trading stock watch list for next week. Talk about what's in our bullpen and our shopping list. We'll also go over our dividend payers and our option strategy, including our puts. So again, we hope you'll join us same bat time, same bat channel, 10 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow for part 2, where we'll select our individual stocks for our top swing trading stock watch list. So thank you all for everyone that joined in the chat today. We greatly appreciate it. Appreciate your active participation, and everyone that's watching this after the fact. Thank you all for your support, and have a great day. Bye.